Hello, listeners. Welcome to season 2 of the Masters Decoded podcast. I am Manish Merchant, the chief decoder. I want to thank you for the overwhelming response to season 1. Your feedback and encouragement led me to bring you season 2 of the Masters Decoded. The season will tap into how technology, artificial intelligence, and other socio-economic factors have impacted my guests' careers or passions. My next guest on today's episode is Meghana Narayan. She's a co-founder at Slurrp Farms. Meghana has been a national swimmer for India from 1991 to 1999 and has won 400 gold medals. In addition to that, she is a Rhodes Scholar at Oriel College, Oxford. After a brief stint with McKinsey, she went to pursue her MBA at Harvard University. A multi-skilled individual who's looking to change early nutrition needs at a global scale. Without much further ado, let me get on with it. Hi, Meghna. Welcome to Masters Decoded podcast series. Really glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm one of your loyal customers for myself and for my children. And, definitely wanted to have you on the show and your team on the show. So thank you for taking time out. I know you all are super busy building your brand, building the products which you all offer to the market.
Thank you so much. It's always nice to speak to customers, especially happy ones.
Definitely. And not so happy ones also, because they do provide you a lot of good, interesting insights.
Absolutely.
So it's been 7 years now for you and for Shauravi and Umang as well through this entire journey. If you have to sum up how that experience has been, what would your thoughts be on that?
Sure. When I think about what we're doing at Slurp Farm, firstly, just taking a step back, is we want to build a really loved and the best kids food brand there is, right? What we are really doing here is fighting the good fight amongst incumbents that have been around for hundreds of years, right? At least 100 years.
Mm.
And we're doing this with products that, frankly, we feed our own children, right?
Okay.
So that's the promise. It's made by two mothers with products that we feed our own children. When you say lessons learned, right? Firstly, we're still learning, right? Every single day, like you said, right? From the customer, from the customers who bought us once, not bought us again. We call every one of them to understand what happened. Did the product not work? Was the delivery experience rubbish? What part of this didn't work? So always learning for sure. But overall, it's not too different from, my first career, right? I think my first career was that of a competitive swimmer. I swam for more than a decade, both for Karnataka and for India. I have over 400 national gold medals and represented India at the Asian Games. And really, what was that, right? That was sort of being consistent and being resilient and thinking about how every day just getting a little bit better than the previous one, right? What that, of course, meant was, sort of 4 to 5 hour sessions of practice every day, 5 a.m. and 4 p.m. preschool, post-school. It's a 10-hour work day, right?
Yeah.
Besides school or university or whatever it was. But it was just literally blinkers on one goal, right? Which is, I want to be better than I was yesterday. And then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more. So I feel like entrepreneurship is not very different. And that's really helped, right? Because we are all like that, actually. Shauravi, Umang, and me are in, different routes have brought us here, but we are like that. In fact, I'd say one of the lessons has been that we don't celebrate enough. We, even the sort of small happy moments or even like a target hit. Yes, okay, great, wonderful, next, right? I feel like as as somebody, I should be doing this better now that it's my second career, right? So I think that, but I think overall, the lesson is that you have to keep fighting the good fight every single day. We have looked for silver bullets. We have not found them. So if anybody, out there listening knows how I can build this stronger, faster, higher, let me know. But I'd say every day what we're doing is just trying to get a little bit better on every aspect of what we do.
Since you spoke about swimming, so let's go back
Yeah,
a few years. I would say a few years.
yeah.
Uh, Young Meghna, how did she get into swimming? What got her prompted to get into swimming, and then almost break all barriers and won? And you, as you said, 400 gold medals, represent India in Asian Games, and even win there. How? What was little Meghna thinking about at that time?
So, I think so. I was not, I was 9 years old when I started swimming. It wasn't really my mother put me in a swimming camp because she felt that in case I ever went to went somewhere without her and I fell into water, I should know how to swim. Right. I don't think the intention was ever to be a competitive swimmer. Like every sort of, I would say, kid growing up in sort of the late 80s, 90s
Yeah.
India, your parents want you to try and do two, three different things and not just study. At least
Yeah.
mine were very much like that. And my mother tried Bharatanatyam dancing and swimming.
Nice.
I complained of cramps and bitterly complained at the dancing. And I was
Okay.
like, this is a better option. And really, I think swimming came very sort of naturally and I enjoyed it immensely. It was very much part of being part of a team of people. My best life friends are the kids that I swam with,
Nice.
sort of throughout my childhood, right? There's Nisha Millett, Shravan Subramanyam, Ashima Shetty. There's a whole group of people who, I know are rooting for me every single day of my life, right? As I am.
Wow.
So I think there's that camaraderie. Um, what does it take to win medals? I think it's that, right? You are training with these people, by the way, who you are competing with. Nisha
Hmm.
Millett and me were bitter rivals for 15 years in the pool. But like
Okay.
the minute we came out of the pool, we were best friends.
Okay.
Right. So I think
Interesting.
learning how to play that, right? That just because that is in the pool, outside the pool, you can still be friends, right?
Hmm.
15 minutes before the race, not necessarily laughing together. Okay. You're sort of getting in the zone and so on. But in life, right? I think that this thing, learning how to lose, um,
Yep.
more important than learning how to win. The winning is managing success in a way that because while I won 400 gold medals, there's a lot of races that I lost as
Wow.
well. Right? To Nisha has 400 gold medals at least as well.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that I lost to her. And so I think I learned how to win and lose. And to me, the destination is exciting and it's, sounds like a great headline, but it was the journey, right, of the everyday. That as an adult, of course, I appreciate much more now.
Hmm.
So I think, the headline is always exciting, right? 400 gold medals, Asian Games, and all of that. But I think what gets missed is the daily ragda, so to speak, which which is
Yep.
where really the magic lies in broadly anything.
No, it requires a lot of mental energy. I would not say I'm a professional swimmer, but I do swim, and swimming is not easy. If you're competing, if you are swimming for fitness, if you're swimming for fun, that level of swimming versus what you all do is a different level of competitiveness, especially. And it does impact your health a lot, actually, which people don't realize. Your hair, your skin, there's a lot of impact on your body in many ways. People find swimming is fun, but it is fun, but it does, if you're doing for competitive sports, it
Yeah.
does impact your body in many different ways. And there have been stories about people. I'm sure you would have experienced the same thing.
Yeah, no, for certain. It's also great for you, like in terms of lung capacity, core strength, and so on. It's incredible. Yes, of course, my grandmother used to say, like, she's in the sun 10 hours a day. Nobody will marry her, of course. But, my mother was like, that's fine. If that's what they're marrying her for, that's the wrong reason anyway. But
Yeah,
I think, you know, just from an exercise point of view, I mean, lots of sports give you this, but I think core strength and also just the razor focus, right? In the pool, you actually can't listen to all the screaming and shouting that's on. It's you and your thoughts. It's like
yeah,
meditative, actually, in a way that I don't think I realized. Again, all of these things you realize as you get older, right? As a 10-year-old
hmm,
year old, you're not thinking that, but it's
yeah,
incredibly sort of it's a lonely sport in that sense.
Yep.
and something that you it's just your thoughts and what your body feels like against the water, right?
Yeah. From swimming and winning in there, you went on to being a Rhodes Scholar. How did that journey start? And you going to Oxford to study and learn from there? Like it was a different transition.
Yes. So I also, yes, I swam, but I'm a South Indian,
Hmm.
sort of, Tamilian by sort of ethnicity, and grew up in Bangalore. Again, growing up in that time, right, where Infosys, all these companies, Wipro, are all just beginning to take off. When I was thinking about college, that excitement of trying to, maybe, to do, technology, engineering,
Yeah.
firstly, was almost a foregone conclusion. I don't think I thought too much about it. The Rhodes Scholarship, and as with most amazing things in life, come your way, right? So I think, uh, an uncle of mine, my mother's sort of sister's husband, said, if there is ever a Rhodes Scholar, this is one. So please make your daughter apply. Uh,
Wow.
and he's like, I don't know anybody who does all these things and does them also well. So she should just apply. If she doesn't win, the committee is a fool. So I was like, that's great. Only your family will say this, right? So
Yeah.
I think, firstly, I have to say, in my life, I've been blessed by lots of people who believe I can do anything.
Mm.
Okay, whether it's my swimming coach or my parents or like extended family and now so many friends, I'm very very lucky in that. And when so many people believe, you will start to believe, right? This is
Yep.
grand fusion. So that's how I applied. And frankly, I really enjoyed the process because it was involved writing an essay and then going talking to all these amazing people. I still remember on my panel was Girish Karnad, Soli Sarabji, um,
Wow.
Montek Singh Aluwalia. They're all ex-Rhodes scholars who interview you.
Yeah.
And then, your name gets called out. And best 2 years of my life, made some great life friends who are mentors today, including husband,
Okay.
who
Nice.
I met at Oxford. So Montek told me when Dr. Palya was when you go up, you have a dinner before, and he said, I was like, man, I did engineering in Bangalore. Now I'm going to go to mathematics at Oxford. It's going to be a big jump. So he's like, my dear, you're going to learn how to drink a lot of wine and graduate with a degree in conversation. So I wouldn't worry too much.
Nice. Okay.
So I think
That's
it's Oxford opened my eyes to the world, right? Before that, like I said, I had had a very, in some ways, unidimensional life of being the best woman I could possibly be, and then engineering school was on the side,
mhm.
and then Oxford meant I met all these people from different parts of the world, who were studying all these different things, and it really opened my eyes to, I'd say, all the opportunities out there, which is how sort of McKinsey happened next. So I think
Okay.
one thing has led to the other, right? I don't think there was some grand plan. It's sort of, I've always looked at one adventure than the next one. What else? Where else can I learn from, right? Because otherwise, it's really boring.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like every privilege I've had now is, it's a way that I need to build on it, right? And get better and better and be the best version of myself. So sort of, and again, McKinsey was a great place to to start, a career, right? I learned, frankly, everything: how to write a proper email, how to think about, an institution, right? I mean, in the way
Hmm.
that I think about Slurrp Farm, and wanting to build a sort of an enduring institution is to think about talent. McKinsey is a place where
Yep.
people want to come and work, right? They
Yep.
know they're going to learn a lot. It's very exciting to amazing people. And, that has really informed a lot of how we are thinking behind how we think about talent and how we think about, sort of learning and development within our company today.
Mm.
I think both for Shoravi and me, we've had the great opportunity to work with uh, great institutions and want to try and bring that to what we're building.
Uh, was it an easy decision for you to leave McKinsey, which is a great company, to start something on your own? What were those thoughts going on at that time?
So, lots of free advice, right, from people, and especially the
Mhm.
ones that love you, I think.
Sure.
So, frankly, so my husband runs a think tank, right? And
Okay.
We've been doing it for a couple of years. It's sort of one of Asia's number one think tanks in the climate space. And I'd seen that entrepreneurship journey. I know how difficult it is, sort of firsthand, right, in my own house. I had always, I have always put my career at McKinsey was in public health. So it was very much, I had done it in the UK and in India. The food system is broken, which is leading to early childhood nutrition, really rubbish outcomes.
Yeah.
And it just felt like I needed to go deep and try and fix that, right? I did not, people say the food industry is hard. How did you choose that? I didn't think like that. That's not part of decision framework. The decision was like, this is a problem. It's worth solving. Let's go do it, right? When you say, was the decision hard? That part was easy, actually. This is worth solving. I want to spend my time trying to solve this. My brother was like, Meghna, nobody else has even tried to do this. There must be a reason.
Yeah.
My mother was like, you always try and pick the most complicated thing. While saying this, so it's great because they ask you difficult questions, but they also push you to answer them. But once you take a decision to have like this force of people who are, chalo, now go and build a global brand out of India and show them how it's done, right? That complete belief was also there, right? So I think there's no question there was nervousness because, definitely there was opportunity cost, all that. I don't think we spent, both of us actually, I'd say for sure, we and me, spent too much time thinking about that. This was a problem worth solving. Let's go there, take it by two hands and see what we could do. I also think we were quite aware that we were not food technologists or had any food industry experience. So it felt like, but you know what? That's what it's going to take. Two outsiders, who are also mothers who realize that how acute the problem is in a very micro way, right? And really go after that and create stuff that, we want to feed our kids and hence other people will want to feed their children as well. Because we don't know any parent who will tell you that, nah, I don't really care what my kid eats.
You mentioned food industry is hard, right? And you also mentioned earlier that y'all are picking up a nice fight with established players which have been in the industry for 100 plus years as well. There is that always a sense of doubt in your consumer's mind about food and although, globally, people don't think nobody reads the back of the food packet to read about the nutrition facts. Now people have started getting a little bit more aware. If you go into supermarkets, you would see people spending time and looking at that food packet. Earlier, they would just look at the brand, look at the name, how colorful or how appealing it was, and they'll just pick it up and put it in their baskets. Now people do spend time about reading the ingredients and all. You as a brand can always list down the facts, but there is that stated, I would say, a doubt in consumers' mind. How do you overcome that as a brand to ensure that, whatever you're serving in that packet is real, is good food, and is nutrition?
So firstly, you're right? The food industry has traditionally had to, there's broadly three things, right? Taste, price, and nutrition or health, right? And they have optimized for taste and price, and sort of health has sort of been killed in the bargain. So firstly, we're Indian. We do such wonderful things with spices and this thing. So we felt you can achieve this trifecta. Okay.
Yeah.
You will pay a little bit more than the sort of maida chini dalda equivalent, as we call it. But in the long run, you will not pay your doctor. Right?
Yeah.
And that's really important. Right? So I think the good part is, it's very unfortunate that COVID has made this realization come front and center into everybody's homes, because now people know that, you can eat a supplement, but actually if you've eaten every day healthy, your likelihood of landing in a space of, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, so on and so forth is a lot less, right? That sort of that realization, like you said, people are beginning to read the back of pack. How are we convincing? Is by being as transparent as we possibly can. So whether it's our social media, also actually, people can taste the difference. Let me just put it out there, right? when we say no white sugar, you can taste it. So when you see no maida, like my husband will say, right? He's like, this, there's a bit like it's a bit grainy. So I'm like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Right? We start with the whole grain and we work with that, right? It takes a little bit longer to cook. We don't use funky traditional, crazy techniques. We use traditional techniques that your granny used: roasting, grinding, roasting again, sprouting, that kind of stuff. So, and we share a lot of that on our social media and so on. So people see that. We
Yeah.
speak in our own voice. So Shoravi, and I, whenever time permits, we try and put out as much content as we can.
Mhm.
Our goal really is to do more of that, even to really say it as it is, right? That this is what we're doing, and these are the. That's why we're making certain product choices as well, right?
Yeah. Building a business is tough, but
Yeah.
building a business with three people together is more tough, right? Often there is always conversations whether you should have a co-founder, you should have a co-CEO along the journey. Yeah, and people doubt that. There have been successes in the market and there have been failures as well. And I'm sure in your McKinsey days, you would have evaluated companies or seen companies which have failed because the co-CEOs couldn't work together. How how is how you all have been able to balance between the three of you, and take things forward?
So one thing, firstly, on a day-to-day basis, in terms of management, it's Shorvi and me. So Umang is
Okay.
I'd say, at the risk of putting him in a box, but he's that brand sort of ethos mentor and sort of this thing. I'd say we do involve him in decisions, but almost as a, as just to double check where, where
Okay.
we haven't missed an angle, so to speak. I think on a daily basis, it's the two of us, right? And on all things brand, for example, he has last word. I think that's
Okay.
one thing. So everybody in the company knows who to go to for what. There is no
Hmm.
confusion in people's minds. So if somebody comes to me and asks me about some brand thing, I'm like, what I think is irrelevant, right? So go ask. Either if it's a more marketing type thing, ask Shorabi, or if it's a more brand thing, then it's a wrong question, right? What are you asking me? So
So
I
what's
think
your role? What's your focus in the market, in the company?
basically I think about all things from once we've decided what that new product, category and this thing is, helping getting the new product produced, working with the finding the raw material, packaging material, getting the product made,
Hmm.
sort of like on all the financials as well. So keep
Okay.
that in mind. And then I do a bit of sales as well. So offline sales used to be when we had a business was what I did. Now I'm thinking about global.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Interesting.
It's at all the marketing, this thing, and online sales and drives that along with Shraddha, who's a core member of our leadership team. And like I said, Umang does all things brand.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think one is the team should know exactly who to go to for what. There should be zero confusion, right? And also for the person. So I shouldn't start giving brand decisions to people, and I don't. One is that. The second is we are fully I think we also have an ethos of having worked in these institutions where feedback was sort of a way of life, so to speak.
Hmm.
So we are very open with each other. That really helps. So she will message me. She's like, "Freaking delegate that. Stop doing it." Okay,
Hmm.
and I'll get a fadak. And same on the other. I'm like, "That's a gift. Take it. Do not waste your time on things like
Yeah.
we're very open with each other. We have a weekly sort of check-in where it's
Hmm.
just sort of actually the three of us, where we make sure there's full alignment and no confusion. We're also really good friends and we really like and respect each other.
Hmm.
So I have great respect in both their capabilities and them in mine, right? Almost like full faith. So, and I know that, like, for example, like a lot of the fundraise discussions, for example, I have them. And
Hmm.
there's no confusion in Shorvi's mind with Patani Meghna. What is she having I'm doing the discussion. So what? It's on behalf of both of us, right? It's not,
Yeah.
and actually the whole company. So there's no chick, so to speak. It's all clear. And I think we work
That's good.
hard at maintaining that clarity.
Hmm.
Because you can't just rely on an old friendship and so on. You have to sort of do that on a regular basis. And it's like any relationship, right? It needs to be watered and fed. So we try and do that as much as possible.
That's great. Y'all started with few categories and y'all have now expanded over the years into multiple of them.
Yeah.
And being a young brand as you are, and it's far enriching to see that y'all are expanding. And I can today tell you that I can see your products in most of the stores, most of the areas. So that's kudos. You all have been able to crack that supply chain and all of those. But spreading or introducing new categories or subcategories pretty quickly in the earlier part does bring its own challenge as well, whether it is sourcing, whether it is the supply chain, all of that. Did you all see that happening during these COVID times as well?
I mean, definitely, right? Because a lot of, especially on the packaging side, there were many sort of vendors that were struggling, to keep the units open. And even if they were open, they were working at various sort of capacity and so on. So I don't think there's anything unusual we've struggled just the way as every other, frankly, brand has struggled, right? Especially the younger ones. I think in terms of your broader question, which is, you've gone into many sort of categories, so to speak. We are in the business of making food for children. Okay. The way children eat is different. Frankly, also, if you give your kid the same pancake every day, they will come to beat you and not eat it. Right.
Yep.
So
I agree.
A variety is the kind of children eat more meals and they eat more variety. Okay.
Yep.
Than adults. So I'd say we broadly make in 4 categories. We make cereals, we make pancakes, those are cakes which sort of form one this thing. Then we do a few superfoods and a few snacks, which I would say we'd grow that portfolio as well. Actually, you see internationally, like all brands that have broken the sort of incumbent, so to speak, like Ella's Kitchen, Organics,
Yep.
Earth's Best in the US, have products in what has traditionally been seen as multiple categories. Because no child wants to eat the same thing every day, right? So they are fulfilling that breakfast and snack time need for a parent and trying to do that multiple times a week. So you can't, just have 3-4 products. Yeah, you need that portfolio.
How has technology helped you across this entire journey of yours? Whether it is passing your message out or coordinating within the organization, what is the role of technology?
So, it's almost like I would say if we had started this brand 15 years ago, it would have been a very different way to build the company from the way we're building it now, right? We've always embraced technology in small ways and in big ways, whether it's a WhatsApp bot that we, we put in place, or a, sales tool, sales team tracker, and something to enable the sales team to, manage their orders better, or, understanding our customer and really sort of double clicking on patterns and, what people are looking for and what are buying patterns and so on. For both of us, right? Sure, maybe our sort of the first career before this was in data, so to speak, right? Which is broadly looking at large patterns of large pieces of information and sort of trying to glean patterns from them and hence, recommendations or solutions, right? So we're very comfortable with data and the use of data and the use of tech to get that data. Of course, we do all the normal things, right? We have a D2C side. We didn't do that initially. We moved towards it sort of because of COVID in some ways, and have learned tremendously from that experience. But all of our marketing is digital, whether it is social media or sort of performance marketing through Facebook and so on. Is pretty much all of it is digital and technology driven. Like I said, right, 15 years ago, this wouldn't have been possible. So we are in that time in history where that's why brands are able to accelerate faster than they ever have been able to.
Yeah. No, it's good. In fact, I'm seeing a lot of brands these days, especially in the food product side, known and unknown brands and known and unknown people have started building their own companies pretty quickly and rapidly. and with the help of technology, and especially using D2C and creating that trust and relationship with end consumers is becoming a key differentiation for many companies. It's heartening to hear from you. Building on this further, Meghna, today, you would have had moments definitely during your swimming days, which you would definitely cherish. And I can see when you were talking about your swimming career, I could see that spark, I could see that smile on your face, especially in the last 7 years. Have there been any specific moments which you remind yourself, this is why I do what I do today? Uh,
So many actually, lots of all the first, right? The first product
yeah,
coming off the line, the first customer reviews, the first lot that I think Shorvisa has a photograph of me going into the Amazon warehouse and delivering it ourselves, going on big basket, the website going live, all of that, all these holding the product for the first time in your hands, right? A fully finished product.
yep,
Um, they're all pretty magical moments. I think the other thing that it's not necessarily like a memorable, like a first, but one of the things that I really believe in is like a team that laughs a lot, hits targets a lot. Okay,
mm-hmm,
so we work quite hard at having fun as we're doing this, because what we're doing, like I keep saying, right, it's not a quick 2-year thing. This is we're running a
yeah,
marathon, and so you have to have fun along the way. Otherwise, it's just too hard. And frankly, I don't like to do that. I like to have fun in whatever I do. That's a very big sort of precondition. So I think,
mm,
and you have fun with the people that are around the table. So the people
yep,
beyond, as part of our team, right, is super important to me. And the memories that we are making together, even on Zoom,
mm-hmm,
as they are these days, are really quite
yep,
special. And I think for us, the first time somebody came to me and said, "I'm really confused. This made by two mothers. They're like, who are the two mothers?" Because
yeah,
Slurrp Farm has got a lot of parents and a lot of mothers who basically, used to work for large other big companies and came to us saying that I don't really want to sell, sugar water or sugared cereal, right? I'd rather sell a product that I really believe in, and came and said, do you have an opportunity for me? So I think the people, the joy is really from the people behind the mission, right?
mm.
And that's just, it's way beyond sort of Shorvini and Umang now, which is absolutely wonderful.
As you build your company, you get defined by the people you carry, which is your team. And that really helps you to push the envelope further. So what's next for Slurp? Like, where you said global. So which country are you all trying to expand and move ahead into the future?
So, we just won, there was Amazon had a little competition, and they picked 10 brands to help take global.
Okay.
We've just launched in the UK.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. We're launching in the UAE by the end of this month. And then sort of, I'd say in another 2 months, we will go to the Mecca, which is the US as
Hmm.
well. So very much, the idea was always to build a brand out of India that could sit on any shelf in any part of the world, right? This is the generation of entrepreneurs who's going to do it. The previous, I would say, we used to export commodities and import brands.
Yeah,
Abhi apna time aa gaya. So
I agree, 100%.
yeah. So I think we're excited about being part of that generation. And we're taking Indian super grains to the world, right? So a lot of what's in your pancake is it's not just no maida, it's sort of millets, right?
Mhm.
Which are
Yep.
a traditional Indian grain that has been grown for thousands of years. Uh,
Yeah.
which they're climate smart, they're good for the farmer, good for us, good for the planet. This is, the time really has come, to adopt
Yeah.
them in a big way. And we are hoping to be part of that movement.
For other young, budding, and even people like me who are thinking about building a career in entrepreneurship, what will be your advice be to them?
I think the obvious one is find what you love, right? Because you're going to do it for a long time and you're going to do it sort of every single day. um, But I think aim to be the best of the world in the world at it, right? You have to really want that. That's really important. I think they say what it takes 10,000 hours to get good at something or something like that, right?
Yep. Yep.
At the risk of telling Malcolm Gladwell he's wrong, I don't think it's just that. You need that 10,000 hours, but you also need to find a couple of people or mentors or whatever you want to call the coaches or whatever you want to call them, ensuring that you're practicing right. Right? Because when you're off key, you shouldn't be doing the wrong thing again and again. That's quite useless. Do new wrong things every day, but let's not do the same wrong thing again and again. So I think that combination, and just know that good things take time. So it will take its time, but it will come.
And just the last part, do you have somebody whom you look up to when you're thinking about your business today?
So I have had a lot of mentors throughout my life, right? I have sort of seeked them out and whatever. It's just more fun, I think, beyond sort of family and friends and so on. But I think right now, if you ask me, there's sort of two people who are on my speed dial. One is Aditya Ghosh, who used to run Indigo and now is on the board of Fab India. And the second is Utsav Bejal, who runs Apollo, the private equity fund out of India. Both of them are not afraid. Actually, I wish they were a little bit more respectful and tell me I'm an idiot and wrong. While saying that again, right, these are two people who are just like Meghna kuch bhi kar sakti hai. Zero doubt. And but will tell it to me straight. Say, I don't think you're thinking about this right. Think about it this other way, right? And I would say each one of them brings a different facet. So each one, for example, I think one of Aditya's superpower is that his ability to work with so many people and still know everybody's name and just understand people at a level that is amazing, right? I'm constantly trying to learn from that. And with Utsav, right? When I was an analyst, he was an associate at McKinsey. So we've been working together for years.
Wow.
And he will be like, I want to tell you that this framework that you're thinking about, you're missing about 4 dimensions of this matrix, my friend. You need to add them to it, and that will help you get to a better answer. So he just always sort of, will help me push towards a better answer faster, right? Instead of me spinning in my own exhaust, so to speak. Yeah.
Wow. No, this has been a wonderful conversation. I have personally learned a lot, Meghna, through this entire piece. So thank you for spending time out. I know you and Shauri are super busy in building the brand of Slurrp Farms further. So best of luck with that.
Thank you so much.
And keep changing the nutrition.
You brought some memories back.
Thank you. That's what the idea is. And keep doing what you're doing, because I can tell you my kids enjoy your products. So, and personally me as well as an adult. So there's something in there that even adults can be a market for y'all. So yeah.
There's something in the pipeline, but.
Sure. Look forward to it. All right. Stay blessed. And thank you for taking time out.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Thank you for listening in. And we close yet another episode of Masters Decoded. If you've enjoyed the episode, please, you can help us out by sharing it on social media. I would personally appreciate that. It's how we can reach more listeners, and the more listeners we have, the more awesome guests I can get in touch and convince to participate in these conversations that are a joy to have for me, and I hope they are a joy for you to listen as well. You can also help a lot leaving reviews on iTunes or your podcast service of choice. Reviews are surprisingly helpful in supporting the podcast to get to more listeners. If this episode has intrigued you, I would request you to subscribe to the podcast to stay up to date and get notified to the future episodes. With that, I bid you and see you in the next episode.